The Treasury Secretary says that the stablecoin market could be $2 trillion. That's a 10x multiplier from here, which is a $200 billion market. And Tom Lee, the CEO and founder of BitMine, which just launched Ethereum as a treasury asset, he says the demand for Ethereum could go through the roof. In today's episode, we're going to dive deep into Ethereum, the base ecosystem, cover Algorand, Ondo, and the latest news with Cardano. We're going to keep you fully updated and let you know the biggest news of what's happening in crypto.
Tom, how did you guys choose Ethereum?
Ethereum to us seemed like the perfect place to start with a digital asset treasury company. Ethereum really caught our attention because we realized that Ethereum is really where this idea of real world assets are being tokenized and put onto the blockchain. That is the majority of real world assets are. A good example is stablecoins. Stablecoins, which is what Circle's IPO is about, is basically a dollar that's put on the blockchain and then you use it in crypto. And the banks actually have gotten quite interested in this as well. So JP Morgan is going to create its own stablecoin. Goldman too. JP Morgan is going to be using Ethereum. And Robinhood just announced some tokenization efforts, tokenizing some private assets. But again, a lot of this is going to end up on the Ethereum blockchain. So think of Ethereum as like the software. Some people say it's like the oil, but it's the software powering all this activity. If you look at the technology stack, typically when you get to that layer, you usually get the highest multiples. And so I think Ethereum probably is dramatically undervalued relative to Circle on that basis. And of course, as we think stablecoin demand could actually, Treasury Secretary Bessent thinks it could be a $2 trillion market from 200 billion today. That's 10 times growth. That's exponential. That would create exponential demand for Ethereum.
All right, Tom Lee breaks it down why they chose Ethereum. And I agree with Tom Lee. I'm thinking, okay, Bitcoin is already been adopted now by institutions, by governments, by companies, 401ks real soon, if not happening now. Ethereum as the number 2 crypto asset, the top layer 1 platform, this is the next thing to pop. All of the altcoins, for the most part, they pump after Ethereum pumps. So we want to see Ethereum pump. We got our Bitcoin pump. Now it's Ethereum's time. And Tom Lee, who's been spot on about Bitcoin, he's been spot on about many of the equities that are popping, is eyeing Ethereum. Now, let's hit the major news that is starting all this catalyst. On Friday, July 18, 2025, the president signed into law, this is the Genius Act, the Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Act, or Genius Act, which provides for the regulation of payment, stablecoins, and for other purposes. Here is Circle. I think, again, as a public company, should be the biggest winner for stablecoins in general. Make money movement your competitive edge. And again, Circle got it right here. The Genius Act is now into law. Circle was built for this moment. Now let's go check it out. The U.S. has officially made financial history. The Genius Act marks a significant milestone for stablecoin legislation in the United States and a clear path forward for USDC. So we got regulatory certainty, we have consumer protection, institutional confidence, dollar leadership. So regulated, secure, fully reserved, globally accessible, transparent, and assured. And again, if you really think about it, where is USDC the most at? It is definitely on Ethereum. And then I would say the number 1 Ethereum layer 2 base is doing a lot of work with USDC. So we got Tether out there. Tether is going to get its wins, but we're going to focus on USDC because in the United States, you also want the US dollar. And when they mean fully reserved, right, you got every USDC in circulation is backed by a US dollar and cash equivalent assets that Circle has in its public visible reserves. What is a cash equivalent asset? That is a US Treasury. This bill in general promotes and pumps the US dollar. So you got one-to-one backed dollars being held, and then you got US Treasuries. The United States needs to sell that debt in order to stay competitive with other currencies around the world, especially when you got countries like China and Japan dumping their dollars. Now is the time to put crypto companies to replace some of these countries. Pretty dope. And Ethereum is the benefactor. Now let's check out the biggest news here. Ethereum news. Ethereum ETFs mark 1 year anniversary with record 332 million inflow streak. That's a whole lot of Ethereum going into ETFs. 1 year popping. And I told y'all last week, I like the iShares ETF of Ethereum because you can also trade options on it. So where my option traders at? Here's the next headline. SEC chair declares ETH is not a security, a new dawn for crypto regulation. So again, the Genius Act being signed into law. Circle's USDC is mostly on Ethereum. It is on the base network. It's on all the layer 2s as well as many of the altcoin chains. Ethereum ETFs hits its 1 year anniversary. Massive inflows. It's doing great in the stock market. Then you get Ethereum not being a security. It is established as a mature blockchain. We got something I think is also very important. The Ether Machine CEO, the largest beneficiary of the Genius Act, is Ethereum. So this guy and a few of his other investors created a company called the Ether Machine. The Ether Machine is all about Ethereum. Accumulate, buy Ethereum, and then get yields out of Ethereum from staking and DeFi. Now, check out this clip about the Ether Machine.
Let me ask you a different question just about the Genius Act. How much of that changes this?
So the largest beneficiary of the Genius Act is Ethereum because the majority of stablecoins are deployed on top of Ethereum. Ethereum is experiencing power law dynamics where 90% of tokenized assets and stablecoins are deployed on Ethereum, similar to the power law dynamics of Google, where 90% of searches happen with Google. And Yahoo gets a small percentage or Bing gets 1%.
What do you think the biggest risk is to this new business of yours and to Ethereum itself, which is to say, how much you worry about some other coin or other kind of tokenization effort competing with Ethereum?
I don't worry about that because I think that Ethereum is the only blockchain that is able to be a substrate for the decentralized global economy.
This is another example. You got Bitmine with Tom Lee. You got this guy here with the Ether Machine. They're all having a strategic or a treasury asset for Ethereum. It's all about Ethereum right now. And I found a dope site right here, strategicreserve.xyz. The strategic ETH reserve is basically tracking all of the companies that is putting Ethereum on the balance sheet. Again, we saw what happened when MicroStrategy put that plan out. They've been doing this since about 25 years of accumulating Bitcoin. Then you got BlackRock, all the ETFs launched. You got all of these companies following the MicroStrategy blueprint. So they now are looking for another undervalued asset. Ethereum is a no-brainer. So here we are, total strategic ETH reserves, 2.31 million ETH, which is 8.6 billion in dollars, which is about 2% of the supply, 61 participants. Total ETF ETH holdings, 5.61 million, which is 20.93 billion, which is close to 5% of the supply. So you got the strategic ETH reserves, and then you have the ETF holdings. Because every time the ETF get inflows, they have to buy more Ethereum off the market so they can match the holdings. And it is popping. You got right here public companies. Bitmine Immersion Tech is holding 500,000 ETH. That's over $2 billion. SharpLink Gaming, SBET. People have been talking about SBET all over Twitter. They are holding 300,060 ETH, which is 1.34 billion. The Ethereum Foundation, Vitalik and them, is holding slightly under 900 million Ethereum. The Ether Machine, I just showed you the clip of them. They are holding 170,000 Ethereum worth 633 million. Then you got Pulse Chain, which is holding 166,000 ETH at 619 million. And then number 6, we got Coinbase holding 137,000 ETH, about $500 million. And then the list goes on. You got the U.S. government, Genosis DAO, Golem Foundation, Bit Digital, Lido DAO, Ethereum Naming Service, Arbitrum, Optimism Foundation, Onchain Foundation, ETH Strategy, Aave DAO, and it just goes on. It goes on. In the future, we're going to see a lot more of this happening. Now, if we go to the public treasuries, obviously, again, Bitmine, SharpLink, Ether Machine, top 3. Then we have the ETF inflows. The numbers are increasing. This is ETH-A, the iShares that I was just telling you about. Then you got ETH-E, ETH, F, ETH, W, ETH, W. It's all the ETHs up in there. They're all holding on to Ethereum. Ethereum is becoming a big winner. Now we transition to Base. Aave is one of the largest DeFi protocols on Ethereum. They're now looking at the layer 2 Base and they want in. New incentives are live on Base. Borrow USDC or the GHO, which is their stablecoin, or migrate your assets to start earning on Aave. And this right here caused a major beef in the Base ecosystem. Let's break it all down. First, we're going to go to Aave. This is Aave's core market. It's on Ethereum mainnet. And if you click here, you can now go to Base. And they are attracting people to use their platform on the Base network. Here's the beef. This is a great post by Luke Youngblood right here. He responds, how do we know they're scared little bitches? Because Morpho and Moonwell never had to pay someone to migrate from Aave. In fact, it's probably illegal under antitrust law to do so. I bet the European commissioners where they live would love to know about this, Europors. So this is funny, but we're going to go up to the very beginning of this. So Aave, why are you using protocol funds or founders' personal funds to suppress competition? Are you scared of Moonwell? Are you scared of Base in creating a better lending borrowing protocol? Shouldn't you bring that attention to your users or while you're blowing it? And he goes deep into the suppression of the funds. But what's important here is they point this out. Every square box on here is essentially talking about Aave using incentives to move money from platforms, let's say like Moonwell, to move money out of Morpho and move it onto their platform, then they're rewarding you. Migrate 100% of your holdings from Morpho on Base and or Ethereum to Aave on Base. So they're trying to suck money out the ecosystem to bring it over to their ecosystem. And that's for BTC. Then you got another one, migrate 100% of the holdings from Morpho. Another one, withdraw 100% of your holdings from Moonwell and Gauntlet vaults on Morpho on Base to Aave. Withdraw 100% of your USDC from Moonwell, Gauntlet, and Morpho. Then you got another 100% from Moonwell. And then this thing just goes on, and goes on. So this campaign, they really want you to leave the platforms like Moonwell and Morpho, who's been established for many years on here, and they want to suck up your money and then pay you basically to do it. And then that's why Luke is like, how do we know they're scared little bitches? That's the obvious. And I think that's kind of funny. That's the beef, y'all. people are not liking it, obviously. And then Moonwell makes a post, revenue matters. And they got a list of revenue from June 1st, 2024, all the way to June 30th, which is essentially a year. So you got Moonwell's revenues here in green. That is 2.74 million. And then Aave's revenue in blue, that's 1.483 million. And that's all on the base network. So this is part of the reason that they want to suck the liquidity away from Moonwell and Morpho, is because they're not making any money on base. And what's obvious is that base is taking over. I personally think eventually base will become, basically better than, or if not used just as much as the mainnet Ethereum. Because again, mainnet Ethereum, still expensive, still a little slower. Base has scaled it. They have the flash blocks, which is making it so fast. They got the backing by Coinbase, a big public company. It's all positive for the Base ecosystem. And personally, once I started using Base, I no longer used mainnet Ethereum. I actually really never used it because it's been way too expensive. And here's the Moonwell platform. And I just showed you Aave, but the Moonwell platform, I think, has a better user interface and a lot more options. So obviously you got the Mamo. This is their crypto agent, the AI agent, financial, not advisor, but financial mover of your funds and help you earn the best yields. You got 9% USDC on Base. Can't really beat that. And then they just added XRP for all my XRP people. And this is pretty dope. So create and co-own AI agents. They're pushing virtuals. So they got connections with virtuals, the Coinbase BTC, and then they got their whale. And obviously I like to show y'all that my favorite page on here is probably the vaults. Earn 3.6% on Ethereum, and that's in a Morpho vault. USDC 9% right now. Even the euro, where Aave's at in Europe, 3.5%, and then Coinbase earning 0.8%. And then if you're an optimism person, earn you 9% over there. Mamo has added Mamo token. You can earn 20%. It can manage your Mamo, your USDC, and your Coinbase. And then obviously Moonwell stakers are earning about 16%. That is fire. Now on to some more based news. They got Base on-chain summer popping off. So you build, you launch, be rewarded. The on-chain summer rewards celebrate the most innovative and widely used apps on Base. Top teams will earn a share of the 200,000, be featured on Base socials, share the stage at Basecamp. And obviously, I'm thinking Moonwell is definitely going to be one of the winners. Probably Morpho and Aerodrome for sure. I think those are some of the most used apps, but you got a whole bunch of other social content creator apps that I like as well. And they're pushing right now. Base is pushing. Jesse Pollock is pushing. So when people hear, do you want to join a free social network where you get paid to post? They're like, hell yeah. That's what Jesse Pollock said. Now, create and earn with Base app. Base app is the new thing that's hitting the streets. Right now, it's in like a beta or a private mode. There's few users on there and more is to come. I can't wait to get on there. I'm going to be posting to make some of that money. Now, check out this clip from Jesse Pollock, the head of Base and the Base app, and former Coinbase, or maybe he still works with Coinbase, obviously. But check this out.
When people hear, especially like millennial Gen Z creators, when they hear, do you want to join a free social network where you can get paid to post? And you want free juice? They're like, hell yeah. Like, I've been posting on other social networks for a long time and I've never gotten paid.
Okay.
And so that hook of your content is valuable.
You get paid. You get paid.
And you can get paid for it because that value is going to get unleashed by the free market.
Yeah.
And then we're going to distribute it on crypto economic rails.
Yeah.
That is next generation internet platform.
I'm
it's
fired
crazy.
up.
It's
I'm fired up.
Get the Base app at base.app. You can get on the wait list. We're going to be letting more people on every single day.
Okay, basically Jesse is cooking. What Jesse has been explaining over time is that as content creators or people just using social media, your posts always have value. What happened is we have these social media gatekeepers, essentially, the YouTubes, shout out to YouTube, I'm on YouTube, the TikToks, the X's and whatnot. You post on there, your post has value. They just got advertisers and all these different requirements that you have to meet, like 10,000 followers, certain amount of watch hours, things of that nature, right? Followers, subscribers, like on X, you got to have a check mark. You got to basically pay them first. And on Base App, what he's saying is that the value that you already have, you bring it on Base App, and then you can monetize that immediately. So if a post goes viral, people like what you're saying, they can buy into what you're saying, and then you can earn off the top without all those requirements. And I think that's smart. I'm excited to test it out. If y'all listening, give me one of them invite codes, y'all. But I think that's smart, and it's basically the future, a decentralized social media that has a whole economy in all in one app on the blockchain. Now, I thought this one was very interesting. I seen Centrifuge, the leading platform for tokenized financial assets. I saw they did a partnership, and they're working on Ethereum. They're working on Base. And why I bring this up is because they have the leading platform for tokenized financial products. Centrifuge real-world asset tokenization platform brings the full power of on-chain finance to asset managers and investors. And they're, like I said, cooking on Base and seeing the tokenizing the asset, treasury bills, DeFi yields. This is something that we're going to see a lot more of, but you need a blockchain that can handle that. And Base is definitely it. But this is cool. Centrifuge collaborates with S&P Dow Jones indices to launch on-chain proof of index infrastructure supporting the first tokenized S&P index fund. Again, let me go back and show you Base right here. Working with Base. Base is doing it. And again, you got Ethereum underlying and Base as that top layer 2, which makes everything a lot better, easy to use, obviously. Centrifuge provides the infrastructure and ecosystem to seamlessly tokenize and manage a diversified group of real-world assets. The Centrifuge technology supports any issuer, asset, or use case with a seamless user experience. Again, so Centrifuge, they're tokenizing. And again, these ETFs, especially once they like hit Base, and people have been talking like, imagine a Coinbase focused tokenized asset, or like you got a mixture of Bitmine, which is about the Ethereum, Ether Machine about the Ethereum, Coinbase, which is about Bitcoin and Ethereum, Circle, stable coins. You put those type of companies into a package, a nice solid crypto ETF, and then you put it on Base, and we can trade, earn yields, use it as leverage, use it as a borrowing and lending asset. That's what Centrifuge and these type of companies are working on. Now let's move forward and talk about Ondo. Ondo Finance is another one that is doing similar things as Centrifuge. So let's dive in deep and talk about Ondo. Here we are. Ondo says, we are excited to announce that Ondo Finance has acquired Strangelove Labs to accelerate our full stack RWA platform development. And this is Strange Labs right here with Ondo Finance. And here is the story of the day for Ondo. Ondo acquires Strangelove to accelerate full stack RWA. Remember, for those who don't know, real world asset development, treasury yields, ETFs, gold, silver, stocks, bonds. Here we go. Ondo Finance, a leader in the tokenized RWAs, announced Strangelove. Again, this acquisition significantly expands Ondo's engineering and product capabilities to develop infrastructure for bringing RWAs on chain. They was like, we need more development power, so they bought a company rather than starting from scratch. Strangelove brings a track record of developing production-grade infrastructure across multiple blockchain ecosystems. Its team has contributed to foundational technologies spanning from interoperability protocols, SDK frameworks, to custom chain deployments, making them a valuable asset for Ondo's mission to modernize global capital markets infrastructure. And then you got a quote right here. Let's go to this one. Strangelove was founded to build secure modular blockchain infrastructure. Modular is a lot of what like Cosmos ecosystem in them does. And you got again Cosmos with the Cosmos SDK. It makes everything interoperable, so you can build on top and within each other. And I'm trying to think of the other name. Celestia, modular blockchain inside of the Cosmos ecosystem. So that's what this makes me think about. So joining Ondo gives us the opportunity to bring that experience to leading platforms for real world assets and accelerate the development of critical infrastructure to help RWA scale and thrive. And remember, Ondo was like, they were working on Ethereum, and then they started to build their own chain. So here's the Strangelove website. Strangelove is the center of engineering excellence for IBC. There we go. Right off the top, I was like, I thought this was familiar. So the IBCs enter blockchain connections. Again, you got Cosmos, Osmosis, Axlar, Celestia, a whole bunch of them. They're all there. It's like 30 something different blockchains. And I really like that ecosystem. So Strangelove's labs, validation services, IBC development, building open source IBC apps and middlewares, pushing IBC adoption beyond the Cosmos. And that's a pun intended. And again, Juno. So you got the IBC Gold Relayer, interchain testing, Cosmos operator. So when I'm looking at Ondo, why would they acquire this company? They essentially are acquiring the whole Cosmos technology. And if you're acquiring the Cosmos technology, that means you got something real big. We know Ondo works with XRP, Stellar Lumens, obviously on Ethereum, Solana. Makes me think, what are they building? What kind of bullishness are they working on with the IBC Strangelove technology? Here's another interesting post by Ondo Finance. Stablecoins unlocked dollar access. Today, Alchemy Pay is unlocking dollar yield with USDY. Now, non-US users in 173 countries can on-ramp into Ondo's tokenized US treasuries on Solana via local currencies and payment methods such as Visa, MasterCard, Apple Pay, and bank transfers. So they got a new integration with Alchemy Pay, bridging the fiat and crypto global economies through a ramp solution. This is interesting. Alchemy Pay is helping them bridge over. So they're working with Solana, they're working with Alchemy Pay, and then you got all the countries outside the US now eligible and able to tap into our treasuries. And again, if we go back and think about the Stablecoin Act, the Genius Act, the power of Ethereum, the power of real world assets, which are the treasuries, mostly stocks and bonds, everything's going to help pump the US. So Trump talking about make crypto a USA, the crypto capital of the world. I do see it happening. And I think him and his team tapped in and saw what companies like Ondo are doing. Obviously, World Liberty Financial is invested into Ondo. Stablecoins is a no-brainer. And you got to find a way to make people want US treasuries. Let's hit this next one. As detailed in Messari Crypto's latest report, the tokenization of financial assets is no longer theoretical. Ondo's tokenized U.S. Treasuries products alone have surpassed 1.4 billion since launching in 2023. It's pretty new, and that's a lot. This growth is confirmation of a structural shift, as the report notes. Tokenized treasury funds have become one of the fastest growing segments of RWAs. Ondo is designing institutional grade platforms, assets, and infrastructure to bring markets on chain, starting with U.S. Treasuries and soon expanding to tokenized stocks, ETFs, and more. What I am excited for is once they get something like OpenAI or SpaceX in form of tokenized stocks, private equity. I called it here today, private equity. If we can get private equity companies that are not public tokenized, put on platforms like Ondo, allow us to invest in them before they go public, convert those tokenized private equity shares into public shares, that's the game changer. So I hope that's what's happening next. Let's get it. All right, here's this graphic. Ondo is designing institutional grade platforms, assets, and infrastructure to bring markets on chain. And then we got market capitalization. This is the old USG, is dark blue since it started going up. And then you got USDY, which is even more inflows for Ondos. And if you don't know, now you know. Here's the Ondo website. Welcome to the open economy. And then they have their data here. Ondo is building the foundation for the future of finance. 10 supported chains, 119 integrated projects, 80% yield coin market share. Damn, that's a lot. Borrow and lend against U.S. Treasuries. So you can get USDC, you have USDT, DAI, and FRAX. And then they have the institutional grade cash management. This is what most people like, the US dollar yield, the short-term US Treasury fund, earning 4% on a lot of money, even a little money is a lot of money. And then they have all their different funds and whatnot. And then what I like is that the omni-chain network for RWA. So this is what they're building. And I think that, you know, Cosmos technology is going to play a big role for this. Obviously, that's why they purchased Strange Love. Onchain, Ondo Chain is a public proof of stake layer 1 blockchain designed specifically for institutional grade real world assets. You can see Ondo TSLA, that's Ondo Tesla. So these type of things are happening. And this again allows especially foreigners to tap into the US markets. And then everything here is like permissionless. So this ain't like one of those our typical public blockchains that we're all used to. This is more permissioned. And I think there's a use case, obviously, for this. Here's some of the benefits. Bridge, build quickly, issue easily, bridge seamlessly. Ondo Chain has been designed from the ground up to enable the development of accessible, stable RWA markets on chain. And then they got kind of like the diagrams. You got portfolio management, repo swaps, and brokerage. Then you got an application layer. And over there to the left, you got the ecosystem layer. EVM public blockchains, that's the Ethereum virtual machines. Then non-EVM public blockchains, that's the Algorands, the Stellar Lumens, right? And private blockchains, private chains, all flowing through Ondo with its participants, service providers, asset issuers, and investors, big banks, private equity. And then the assets, tokenized, publicly traded securities, other RWAs, and digitally native assets, all flown through Ondo Chain with the Ondo token, hopefully, and I would think obviously, receiving a lot of that value. Now let's move on to our next blockchain. Algorand Foundation has big news. ZBEC is integrating Algo into its card and payroll products. That means Algo holders can now spend their tokens anywhere MasterCard is accepted and access seamless crypto payroll through ZBEC. ZBEC network. So that's pretty popping. We got ZBEC integrating Algorand, so you could use that for payroll and payments. Algorand's already working with MasterCard for the Para card. They're tightening that relationship with MasterCard. I think that's a power move. So here is the ZBEC Networks website. Decentralized infrastructure network for seamless flows of real-world value. Changing the way money moves. Around the world, blockchain technology is being adopted at a rapid pace. ZBEC is helping to create a future where money and value move more freely, giving individual businesses, investors, and teams faster, easier access to funds and tokens. So you got DPEN networks, ZBEC Black, which is cards, ZBEC Silver, another card, and RWA payments. 550,000 monthly users on and off chain, 250 payroll enterprise clients, $1 billion in volume of payroll in 138 countries. So Algorand is smart to tap into this. And then you got different networks. Select a network, connect your wallet. Right now they're showing you the Solana, but Algorand obviously is integrated as well. Now here's another big one for Algorand. You can send Algo to anyone on X with a single tweet. No wallet, no problem. Agent Nyla is now integrated with Algorand. Recipients get auto-generated wallet and can easily claim their tokens. So Nyla, it says now supporting Solana, Ethereum, Algorand. So two of the big blockchains plus Algorand. Okay, so Nyla is another crypto agentic crypto, helping you move and manage money. Here is the Nyla platform. Obviously, nice branding. Got the Solana cat and some AI lady, anime rather. So here's the page. You can log in, swap, launch. It has all the features. They got their lore. I do like the way this website looks, but to integrate Algorand, right? They got the website right there. So they're showing you that they have Algorand, Ethereum, and Solana. Let me see. Got the dashboard. You got to log in. I'm not logged in, y'all. But anyways, to send, to move, to share crypto with somebody that doesn't have crypto, that's what this AI is helping you to do. No downloads, no confusing technology. Nyla makes crypto as easy as writing social posts, so you can do this on Twitter. Send your tokens directly to Coinbase, Binance, or any centralized exchange directly from an X or Telegram command. Whether you're making your first crypto transactions or you're a seasoned trader, Nyla eliminates the complexity. Just mention @Nyla agent in a post with your transfer command, and we handle the rest. We want self-custody your assets. You can easily connect with trusted wallet providers. And you got the Para and all of that. So it's kind of like, hey, Nyla, send 500 Algo to Coinbase for me. It'll do that. Send someone who doesn't have a wallet crypto, and then it'll create a new wallet for them and send them the crypto. Then they can go claim it with their like social handle and whatnot. So another way, another form of using crypto for newbies and veterans alike. And again, if you ain't checked out the Algorand website, make sure you do. A lot of good info on there. All right. I thought this one's an important one to include. So shout out to France.algo. Algorand has node runners in 83 countries. Let that sink in. Ever since node running and all of that started a few months back, shout out to John Woods, former CTO of Algorand. People have been in position, and Algorand has made it easy to run a node. I'm running a node right now. Over 3,500 nodes are running on the Algo mainnet, including 1,900 actively participating in consensus. I'm one of them. And here's the list. Top 10 countries by Algorand node account. Number 1, the United States, 1,316. Number 2, Germany, 352. Pakistan, 336. Ireland, 163. United Kingdom, 133, Canada, 112, France, 102, Singapore, 84, Finland, 82, Netherlands, 80. I'm impressed by the United States. It has 1,000 more basically than the next one up. Again, Algorand working with the Blockchain Association and other companies to cement itself in the United States is definitely a smart move. Keep up the great work. And finally, the last thing I want to show y'all about Algorand. Got a big idea. The Algorand Web3 Masterclasses are here to help you build it. Get your hands on support, expert mentorship, and a clear path from concept to launch. Apply now. Free, interactive, no coding needed. Again, so Algorand is pushing this class. We know DHN Crypto, Wade Teamer over there, he took the class. He very much so enjoyed it, but it teaches you the foundation and the basics, give you some tools like Algo Kit, couple easy, simple tasks to do to get you integrated. And then boom, from there, there's a lot more doors opening for you. I think that's a smart move to get people into the Algorand blockchain. So that's what I got for y'all for Algorand. Next up, I got to talk to you about Cardano. It's been a while for my Cardano people. I got a nice update for y'all. USDM by Moneta, Cardano's premier fiat-backed stablecoin. Moneta is building USDM, an essential tool for Cardano. USDM serves as a base asset for decentralized finance, promotes and enables instant on-chain payments, accelerating the growth and adoption of the entire Cardano ecosystem. USDM is backed one-to-one by U.S. bank deposits and money market funds managed by Fidelity and Western Asset Management, ensuring stability and security for all users. Genius Act, again, Cardano got a fiat-backed stablecoin. Fidelity, big bank in the United States, is involved, which is smart. And they have their stablecoin. From my understanding, that USDC is not big on Cardano, so they say USDM is the one we're going to use. And I think, again, Cardano, you got to be in position with regulation and compliance. Fidelity is all about that as well. Here we go. Pioneering stablecoin innovation on the Cardano blockchain. Regulated and compliant. Moneta meaning coin or money in various languages. Moneta Digital is a U.S. regulated money services business. Is the legal issuer and redeemer of the stablecoin on Cardano. So smart, you got a U.S. company. Born from the Cardano community as Moonwell Finance, Moneta harnesses the power of community. So again, very U.S. oriented. They've been building this for a while, and smart again to be ready for the Genius Act. So if you've been using USDM, let me know how that feels. Now I got a couple other nice press releases that we're going to talk about for Cardano. So we got Cardano Foundation collaboration with Universidad Tecnológica Nacional of Argentina. So that's University Technology National of Argentina, right? So essentially what they're doing here, they're out in Brazil and also Dubai. They're working to teach blockchain technology. The ADA Labs for blockchain applications, they're being facilitators for a program to teach these people here at the university blockchain technology. And when you're doing something like this, you're essentially showing them what blockchain is, but at the same time, you're like, but if you're going to build, use Cardano. Use the blockchain that we're teaching you because you're going to be the most familiar with this technology. And then they're like, by the way, we have the USDM backed one-to-one by the US dollar and treasury assets. That's what they're doing there. So I think that's a smart move, something I'm going to be watching for a while. Then we have Crypto Carbon Ratings Institute and Cardano Foundation releases MiCA compliant sustainability indicators for the Cardano network. Now they're like, okay, we in South America. Now we in Europe. The MiCA compliant, right? So that's the markets in crypto assets regulation in the European Union, which mandates disclosure of certain sustainability indicators by issuers of and service providers for crypto assets, right? So the report highlights a few things. We'll go to that right here. Cardano employs a energy efficient consensus protocol in comparison to proof of work based protocols. Cardano consumes significantly less energy. Remember, proof of work is the miners. You got Bitcoin. Cardano is a proof of stake. So you have total annualized electricity consumption, 704.91 megawatts for Cardano network as of May 2024. So low on that end. Total annualized carbon footprint for the Cardano networks, and they have those numbers. The marginal power demands, transaction per second for Cardano, and then they go in additional electricity consumption and carbon footprint. The report provides sustainability metrics in line with the draft regulatory technical standards provided by the European Securities and Markets Authority in the second consultation package of the markets and crypto assets MiCA regulations. Overall, what they're saying is, just like the Algorands, that type of blockchain, the Stellar Lumens, Cardano is also, better than Bitcoin than for the environment. It's not bad as a data center like AI. It's not going to destroy, the environment by energy consumption. Another thing. So you got regulation and you got sustainability efficiency. And here's another one. Cardano announces strategic partnership with Serpro. Serpro is the world's largest state-owned information technology company. And this is out in Brazil. The collaboration aims to accelerate blockchain adoption and digital transformation in Latin America's largest public sector. As Brazil's leading government technology provider, Serpro processes 33 billion transactions annually and manages more than 30 petabytes of data across various cloud platforms. Serpro's workforce of over 5,000 specialized technology professionals, including 2,000 dedicated developers, powers the digital solutions serving 90% of Brazil's federal administration. Again, they say we're going to Brazil. We're going to work with universidades. We're MiCA compliant. So when you're ready, and then we're also back in Brazil working with a publicly owned technology that works in the federal government. I don't know, but I think that's a smart move. Y'all let me know what you think. Viridian, a next generation digital identity platform. So I remember Viridian, they still out here building. So again, let's see, are they gonna be in Brazil in this one? So Viridian represents the future of digital identity management for individuals and enterprises. The Cardano Foundation eagerly announces the launch of Viridian, an open source digital identity platform for individuals and organizations. Introduced alongside its first product, Viridian Wallet, the platform puts users in complete control of their digital presence, delivering verifiable credentials and robust data security. Again, we'll go over some of the key advantages. Comprehensive control. This is for the Viridian Wallet. Decentralized identifiers enable digital identity sovereignty, eliminating third-party dependencies. And digital identity is something that I've been talking about on this channel for a few years, and it's becoming more useful as we go, especially in countries outside of the United States. Post-quantum security, verifiable authenticity, global interoperability, full transparency. We love that. Cost-efficient scalability. Again, another tool for governments, countries, like you got the COVID passports, you got, let's say, social security type things. You got all these different things. Excuse me here. You got all these different things that would be useful for this type of technology. So Cardano, I think, obviously will go to countries like Brazil, push this technology, and see who will adopt it. And the final thing I got for the Cardano ecosystem is we're highlighting 3 projects building real utility on Cardano and pushing the ecosystem forward. So these are 3 different projects. I think 2 of the 3 are very interesting, but this is part of their feature Fridays. Here's the first one. So Liquid. Earn interest on your Cardano assets and borrow with security. Borrow with speed. Borrow with flexibility. So this is a borrowing and lending platform right here, and staking and voting. So they have over 116 million deposited into Liquid. So how it works, you lend your assets, right? Earn on the lend. Then you borrow if you want to, and then you yield liquidity. Yielding liquidity is the next step. So simple as that. Borrowing and lending platform. And then once you launch the app, you have the assets here. Cardano, obviously. You got some type of USDC. And as we just discussed, USDM is on there, but they have a USDA, USDT. So a lot of USDTs, but I definitely like the USDM. They have the staking page where you can stake your Liquid, vote in the governance right here. And then supply. Obviously, some of the best supplying that you can get is here in the stablecoin realm. So essentially, if you got USDM, you're back 1-to-1, deposit here, earn 15% on the stablecoin. That's what I like about it. The next platform, the Oracle standard for on-chain data integration. Oracle's, again, like Chainlink, right? This helps connect our non-essentially crypto world to the crypto world and help you build different type of apps. This is more for the developers, for the organizations, and for the companies. So this one's up on there. They got all their data about being up on time. And then finally, ADA stats. This is more of a block explorer. It tracks everything in the Cardano ecosystem, 28 billion market cap for the ADA price, and 79 cents for the price, over 3 million holders. So this is where you can get some data from. Good data platform. And that's what I got for y'all for the Cardano ecosystem. Let me know what y'all think. Next up, as we slowly start to close out for this episode here, I really wanted to give it to y'all, but I want to show you some of my favorite DeFi platforms and where to earn a nice yield pairing with USDC. So if you got USDC, another L1 token paired together, a little less volatility and permanent loss, it's essentially another way for me to hold the mainnet token, the layer 1 token, but also have the USDC, so I don't have to worry about too much of the price going up and down versus the tokens, and I could just worry about the main one. So this first one here is on Saucer Swap, the USDC and HBAR, where you can earn up to 42.62% right now. That's not bad. That's actually fire. I love that. So that's what I got for y'all there. USDC HBAR, the simple and basic pool. No confusion there. You add USDC, you add HBAR, you can farm and earn Sauce, their native token for the Saucer Swap platform, and then you can earn HBAR token itself. Again, almost 43%. Can't really beat that. Fees and incentives. Then the next one I got for y'all is in the Algorand ecosystem. Again, USDC paired with the L1 token, Algo. We got Algo USDC on the Pact platform, earning 22%. Again, as the prices go up for the mainnet token, you get less of the mainnet token and more USDC. The values will stay and rise together while you're earning. So the main thing I like is to earn off the main token, and as that value goes up, I just get more USDC. So trading APR of this one, 13%. Then you got a mining liquidity APR of roughly 9%. Earn your rewards in Algo and the POW token, which is the power from Pact, and that's where you get your 22% from. And then the third one up I got for y'all is Solana and USDC on the Radium platform. So why would I show you this one? Well, for one, Solana is basically a top 5 token, and most of the time it's the blockchain that has the most transactions popping in. Like this blockchain, as we know, even shuts down and messes up sometimes you can't even trade. Like when the Trump coin dropped, I couldn't even buy it. However, it generates a lot of fees. So just by fees alone, you can earn 16% APR for the USDC Solana pool. So you add the liquidity, then you stake the liquidity. So if you just want to earn some money via all of the meme coin transactions, this is the way I would do it. And this is the way I think is smart by getting the USDC Sol pool. You don't have to worry about the memes. You just collect the fees and have the Solana token, Sol token, which has been performing well ever since the FTX crash. Now, the final platform I got for y'all, for the people who be watching the channel, you know, Airdrome. Airdrome's popping, but I wanted to point out this pool here, which is the USDC wrapped ETH pool. So essentially you got Ethereum pooled with USDC. And most of this video, especially in the beginning, I talked about the power and the adoption of Ethereum in the future. You get 12% APR for your wrapped ETH USDC. So as ETH gains value, the adoption grows for stable coins. You got them paired together and you can earn 12% right now on Airdrome. That's the pool I want to point out to you. A lot of fees, a high TVL, and a lot of volume. You can make some money. That's what I got for y'all for my DeFi gems and jewels. All right, y'all. As we slowly again start to close out, I want to go over the polls that we had from last week's episode. I said crypto is finally pumping. Which crypto deserves to become an ETF? At 147 votes, y'all have chosen Ripple XRP at 59%. And then the runner-up was Hedera at 23%. I could respect that. Ripple is popping. Hedera is loved. The next poll, I said, in my opinion, DeFi is the most exciting part of crypto. Which blockchain has the best DeFi ecosystem? Out of 258 votes, the people have chosen Algorand at 64%. And then they said Base at number 2. Honorable mention of number 2 at 17%. Now, these two, obviously, I use Algo and Base. So big shout out to both of those ecosystems and appreciate all of y'all who have been voting. Now, for the poll this week, we got one here that says, we are now in the era of crypto strategic reserves for companies, countries, and 401k retirement plans. Which crypto would you bet your family's economic future on? And then I got 4 options for y'all. BTC, we already got the Bitcoin strategic reserves. Ether, we're seeing Ethereum pop off as another reserve treasury asset. XRP probably will be the next ETF. Then the 4th option, I just want y'all to let me know, so I put a question mark. Comment, is it the Algorand? Is it Solana? Is it Hedera? Is it Cardano? Is there another token that isn't on this list? Let me know what you think. So we had an explosive episode this week talking about the most hottest crypto news with a hyper focus in on Ethereum. Ethereum deserves the attention right now as the money flows from Bitcoin to ETH. We went into the Base ecosystem, the Base app. There's a beef popping with Moonwell and Aave right now. Dived into the Algorand ecosystem, tapped in with Ondo and Cardano. Explosive episode, y'all. So let me know any thoughts that you have about today's video. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave any comments and suggestions. And I appreciate y'all for tapping in on the channel. Until the next time, y'all. Peace. Passive income. Gold in my dental. Thank God for my mental. Investor fundamentals. Told my girl it was simple.